Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste and welcome everyone to Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. Good. Okay. Hands were up really fast. So, Michael and Victoria.
Hi, Father.
Hello.
So I don't have a question to ask. More of I've been having this contemplation come today after I read something, and just wanted to talk with you, and maybe you can bring some light into the contemplation. So I was reading this message by a Sufi master, and he was talking about the existence of God's being, and that it's the only existence. And then he started to point to he was saying that you don't have any being, like you have no being and only God exists. And so it struck me very much, that this me that I take myself to be doesn't actually exist at all, and only God exists, and that what I am must also be that God.
Yes.
And it was just so powerful, and my mind turned it more into a contemplation, right? To use the thoughts and to direct the thoughts to becoming clear about that. And it was in line also with another contemplation I was having just these last couple of days about the sense I am, the sense of being, if it's a thought, like if it's, because it doesn't feel like a thought, but it's also like when Ramana talks about contemplation, he says, hold on to one thought to the exclusion of all the other thoughts. And so like most of the time with you or with Guruji, you point to the sense of being, and it feels like in the contemplation, I want to hold on to the sense of being. But it's like that also must be a thought, because it's like if I'm holding on to that, then all the other thoughts are being excluded. So it must be like something to hold on to. Like the sense of being is like something to hold on to. I don't know if you just want to share something or
Yes. Yeah. Let's see what comes up. It's a good contemplation. It's a good contemplation, and often I have said that the work of the mind, in a way, is to convince God that it is a person. Of course, all in the design of God itself. But like the Sufi master said, that only God exists. You don't even exist. You see. Now that is a very beautiful pointing, but many times I have seen some start to struggle with that, because what happens is that we come into a sort of belief that this sense of existence itself must go. You see, because we have already labeled that as a me, and we feel that, oh, but that is not reality. You see, that must go. That is the me that must go. So this is a huge trick from the mind, which convinces consciousness itself that consciousness is personal. All, of course, is part of the play of consciousness and the design of consciousness. You see, so this statement actually is effortlessly real. That only God is. You see? So the attempt to clarify or to confirm, you see, at the level of thought, is actually not needed. You see, because at the level of thought, what is the best that we can do? at the level of thought, at best we can convince ourselves or believe it more and more, you see. But in your seeing, that which is aware of this being, there no confirmation is needed. You see, there is no confusion there that this being is not limited or personal, isn't it? So, so we don't need to construct a conceptual idea around it that my being is um, unlimited or my being is the presence of God. You see, only if there are pointers. But in reality, as we let go of any concept about this, you see, that is our direct insight, our direct intuitive experience. You see? So, so that is the first thing. The second thing is that whether we completely let go, you see, and as we completely let go, the truth of ourself is completely apparent, and the pulsation, I'm calling it a pulsation provisionally, um of our being is also apparent. You see, and in fact, the distinction may not be so apparent. So we may not be able to say there is awareness of my beingness or there is awareness of my presence and these kind of things. You see, but as we let go of all things, then that is apparent. If you hold on to your sense of being, you see, if you hold on in what way? You see, the only way to hold on in a way is try to fixate attention on it, and and as you fixate your attention on it, you're not giving attention to other divisive thoughts or worldly sort of thoughts. And as we empty of those thoughts, again, this truth is completely apparent. So whether we say let go, completely surrender, or stay with your presence, actually the outcome is the same, because the troublemaker doesn't have a play in this either way. So uh, what is important to recognize is that contemplation, in the way we use the term contemplation versus how it is usually used in the world, is quite different. No? So in the world, typically when somebody says you have to contemplate this, usually they're saying think about this and come to some sort of clarity of thought about this. But when we look at inquiry and contemplation, what we're really saying is check in, look within, and not so much about coming to some sort of mental or conceptual clarity. Just come to that intuitive insight, which will in a way dissolve all conceptual frameworks about this. So so just in our discussion, that is the response that is coming up from here. Anything that is coming up for you in response to this?
Just just that, sometimes it feels like the thoughts, which are like contemplative thoughts, uh,
Hmm.
are like coming effortlessly. Like it's like even I let all
Yeah.
the thoughts go, or just
Yeah.
focus the attention on the sense of being. But the thoughts are like working themselves out,
Yes.
and
That's
you're
fine.
just
That's
like,
completely fine. That natural movement is completely fine. But actually, all that we need, if we need even that at all that we need is one pointer or one contemplative thought, as you put it. Just one is enough. Like
yeah. So this thought, like, okay, only God exists.
only God exists is good enough. You see,
But
or
there's lots of thoughts around that thought. Like
yeah,
there's thoughts which are like, that thought is like negating all the other thoughts.
yes, 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 and that process can happen quite naturally. So what is happening is that the deconditioning of prior belief systems could be happening in this organic way, but the attempt must not be to come to some sort of a conceptual understanding, because that will just construct a new conceptual framework, you see. So as that deconstructive process is happening organically, just remember not to build a new house on top of that, because that will have to be deconstructed as well.
Thank you.
Very, very good. And Victoria is good.
Yes, very good. Thank you.
So coming to satsang is process of instant insight, intuitive insight, available at any point of time, is it? And a dissolution of all conceptual understanding. You see, the end of conditioning is a dissolution of conceptual understanding, not to create a fresh spiritual understanding. And sometimes the spiritual understanding is helpful. Take a pointer and use that to clean up everything. You know? And when I say use that to clean up everything, pick a pointer which is naturally doing that anyway. You see, like you were saying that God is all there is cleaning up all ideas of separation and identification and me and you and the world and myself and all of these kind of uh, divisions and separations can naturally be surrendered to that one master thought, and then the master can also dissolve the master thought. Okay, good, good. Okay, Anka, sorry, I may not be pronouncing it well.
Hello, Ananta-ji. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
How do we say your name? Is it Anka or Anka?
It's more Anka. It's a short form of my name, which is
Ah,
Ann-Kathrin. Something is burning inside, and yeah, I'm trying to meet you in not from now and not from emotional states, reporting from the past or something like this. And I'm reading feelings mostly in a negative way. That's what I know. There's a lot of judgment for what should not be here or
mm,
what should be there. And what is especially how can I say? I told you about that when I'm, as for example, in a Zoom meeting or with people, that I feel a lot of stress,
yes.
and this is this is I know this for a long time, and it's very regularly, and something I'm just wondering if I should bear this feeling of feeling very uncomfortable in front of other people or with other people, or if I should look into this, who's so who feels so stressed, because this seems like an identity which comes up so often, and it brings so much distress. Yeah, and I would like to be free of this yeah, confusion in when it's here. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay, let's see if I can help you through this. One thing we can agree on is the one that is experiencing these feelings, that one has the right to complain about them, isn't it? Not a third party, not somebody who has nothing to do with anything. That one has no right to complain about the feeling, isn't it? The judgment on the feeling that is being experienced must belong to the one that experiences it. Yes?
Mhm.
Is it? So that which experiences the feeling, what is that one judgment about the feeling?
It doesn't want to feel the feeling.
Uh-huh. And how do you know this?
I'm not sure. I just experienced a lot of stress. This,
Yeah, so
this
suppose the feeling is like this, like this, like this, like this, some feeling is like that, you know, and the experiencer of this feeling is who? Because that one can judge it, no?
yes.
So who is that one who is experiencing it? All
Right now, when you say, it's almost as if there's only myself. Somehow, I cannot even find.
yeah, yeah. So very good. So that myself, you see, that myself, what is its original judgment about this feeling? If you had to go to it itself without any intermediary or any translation, what is the original experiencer feeling about this feeling?
the 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 seeing itself has no judgment about the feeling.
Yes. So, and what about the being?
Yeah, it has no the same.
The same. So
Same.
the sense of beingness in which the feeling apparently seems to arise, that has no worries about this. That which is aware of even the being, of course, is completely unaffected and untouched by it. So this idea that the feeling should not be there, what is the source of that?
Yeah, now it just seems like a single thought, which is just floating through the being.
Yes.
And
And
uh,
whose voice is that thought? Who is it representing? Who is the affected party here? The victim of the constriction or the feeling. The being remains untouched, no? In spite of whatever may come. Just like the space in the room, it doesn't care which furniture is put in the room or who are the people walking into the room or walking out of the room. Your being is just like that, isn't it? See if you can confirm this.
yes,
And that which is aware of this room, that which witnesses this room of your being, that also is unaffected by what visitors this room has.
mm.
Now, who is affected, if at all?
it seems that as if there's this assumption of a me, this identity which reshapes in this moment.
Now, this me, can it be identified even as an object in the room?
No.
Not even that, isn't it? Not even as tangible as this, what we call the play of appearances, you see, which itself is illusory. But the me is a second level illusion.
How can brings how doesn't exist bring so much stress? It's so absurd.
So, in the previous statement from the Sufi master, where he said, "You don't exist," that was the me that doesn't exist, the same one, you see, but it seems to have these claims that this should not come inside the room, this is my room, this cannot come, only this should come, better thoughts have to come, nicer emotions have to come, better relationships have to come, more money has to come, of course freedom has to come. All of these representations belong to the you that doesn't exist.
Yes.
You see, so I'm going to give you a bit of an exercise because it can play out this way, and this exercise has helped quite a few. So when you're not, when you feel like the something is too much, no, like the feeling is too much, uh, just try to be the space in which they are appearing. Just try to be like the space. You see, then naturally you will see that you are aware even of that space. But sometimes the thoughts can be so compelling, it can seem like that we are not able to create some distance between what is appearing. So instead of trying to jump straight into our true nature, you can just play a little bit as the space in which it is appearing. And you will notice that this space actually has no boundaries. You see, it has no boundaries. And then very naturally, when it comes easy, then you can just check who witnesses even this spaciousness of being in which all these appearances come and go.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, so welcome, my dear. Very good. I'm enjoying today's satsang very much already. Thank you, thank you. Okay, Rashmi can come.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste, my dear. Namaste.
I really need your help. You
Uh-huh.
know, a lot of resistance is coming up, and the mind is having a field day.
Hmm.
And I'm not being able to stand back and just witness it.
Okay. Can
And
you give me
suddenly,
an example of what you mean by resistance and the mind having a field day?
resistance, like even to listen to satsang,
Ah, yes, yes.
you know, and like I love listening. I could just love your satsang. And but it's just it. I really have to fight it out and come out and say, okay, I really need to sit here.
Now, usually what I've seen is that this resistance can take one of many shapes, of course, but usual shapes are, oh, I feel like I've understood everything that he has to say. He's saying the same stuff again, over and over again. Anyway, what's the point? You see, that kind of sort of arrogant resistance, or there's also sometimes like a pointless resistance. What's the point? I go, but I can't really do it anyway. And who is aware of the perception of this hand? When will I ever come to this answer? Like that kind of resistance. Is it any of these, or is it just a general like a boredom and
It's a
yeah,
pointless, little bit of
so
boredom. So I really, and it has started recently. It wasn't there earlier. It's just come up. I don't know whether it's because of sitting at home doing nothing or what. I don't know.
it's very natural. I have to say that many times there can be an initial excitement about being in satsang, and we can't wait for Friday or Monday to come, and we just looking forward to clicking in and joining, and it's so nice and blissful. Then there can be a phase where it can just seem like I don't know why everybody is laughing or crying. It's quite boring. What's the big deal? It's the same stuff, and look at them pretending as if they're getting it. All this kind of resistance can come in one way or the other. And of course, boredom is a very fertile way to resist coming to satsang. So the good news is that you spotted it, and and you're still here. You see, so that is the good news.
Mhm.
Uh,
Anji.
You see, so that's good. What frustrates you the most in satsang? I've asked this question before, and I can offer you some answers later, but maybe I can hear from you first, fresh.
I am very, very with you in satsang. It's not that anything is happening during satsang. It's later. It's later
Later.
that the resistance comes. And I would like to go back and listen to the satsang again and all. That is when the resistance comes.
Ah, acha.
Like right now,
Are you able?
I'm very
Are you,
much here. I'm with you. There's absolutely nothing happening.
so if you are able to come, no, twice a week, Friday and Monday, then
Yes.
that is quite good enough. Actually, you don't have to trouble yourself by watching too many recordings and things like that. If it happens naturally, of course, you can. But if you're in a way getting into this kind of battle where the mind is saying go to Netflix and watch a movie, but you feel like you should make best use of time and watch satsang and this kind of battle, then sometimes just go a little easy on yourself, because sometimes the battle itself makes it more difficult to watch satsang. If maybe you let yourself go a bit, then you will see that uh, there may be more openness to watch more satsang. But just one hand should hold mine, which is in the sense that just make sure that you're coming to the live satsang at least.
No, that I'm very regular.
Yeah,
Since
good.
October, I'm absolutely here every time that we have the satsang. I really
That's
need help on this, Guruji. Please, just take it away from me. That's it. That's my prayer to you. Just finish me off, please.
yeah, yeah. What part of you still exists that needs finishing?
That's very difficult to answer. That's very difficult to say because I
What
really don't know. I don't know, Guruji, whether I'm progressing or I'm just in a plateau or I can't tell.
do you know that you need finishing?
I do.
What is the basis of that?
Ever since this resistance came and the mind became active and all, it was just like going crazy. And I really started thinking as if there's something wrong.
Yeah. So now stop thinking that. Don't
Okay.
worry about that. I mean, when I say stop thinking, what I mean is The thought can come, but
Right.
there's no longer uh, an owner of that thought. Like who is this one anyway? No,
Take care.
you see? If you were to become instantly free, who would be that one that would become free?
And the person,
The person itself is the bondage. You see,
yeah,
that can never become free because the bondage is like the chains are the chains. No? They cannot be the representative of freedom.
right.
You see? So who is there? So if I had 100 grams of freedom right now and I wanted to give it to you, can you produce the one that is bound?
No,
Can you produce the one that is free?
no,
that is
no.
the golden secret.
Anji, take care.
Neither bondage nor freedom applies to you.
That is so good to hear, really. Because I started taking it absolutely off track and I thought I was just getting out of the way and just, you know, just it was going crazy for me, really. Thank you so much, Guruji. Really, I'm totally surrendered and please, please keep supporting me.
Always, my dear, always. Very,
Thank you so much.
very happy to hear from you as well. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Very good. Okay. Liam? Liam can come.
Hi Ananta-ji, namaste.
Hello.
Hi. So I just wanted to check with you. There was the feeling um, in the past days like the scene became a bit blurry.
Ah,
Yeah, yes, yes. Um, Yes, but at the same time, this openness right now is very, very here, very present. But it feels like, yes, some, yes, there's still the feeling that something has to go or be, no, like seen or transcended, no? But yes,
yeah. That seeing, which was clear, you have to throw that out. Then it can never become blurry. It's a very subtle thing I'm saying. You see? You see? Because only when we determine that something is clear can something else in relation to that seem blurry. Openness, on the other hand, and you said openness, implies that this can come, it doesn't really matter. You see, because we are not
yes,
speaking at that level of clarity or blurriness at all. You see, we are not speaking at the level of change at all. You see, we are speaking of that which is beyond all phenomena, beyond all perception.
yes.
And can that have clarity or blurriness? So, whatever state or idea of clarity you may have, just let go of all attachment to it.
Um, I feel sometimes it's like there is something that wants to be free from negative emotion or thought rather than be free, you know,
Yeah.
and it like makes a reading like because mind still comes, or because in the dynamic some problem plays out, therefore there is no freedom, no, but I see it's not like that.
Yes. 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 See, whether negative or positive is a question of perspective. You see, it's a question of interpretation. If I said to everyone who is on this meeting today that the ones who will experience the deepest frustration in the next 5 minutes, those are the ones who will be completely free forever. You see? Then, as that feeling is coming, yeah, the mind is interpreting, yes, 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 yeah. You see? And what would we really say? This is what we wanted, you see, so we are not looking at it as negative, you see. So, so what happens is that uh, our ability to interpret anything as anything is unlimited. I wonder whether any of these words make any sense. Our ability to interpret anything as consciousness is unlimited. You see? That's why there's so much conflict in the world. There's so many arguments about everything. You see, because everybody can interpret anything as anything they want, and there's no limit to that. You see, so when we say negative, you see, it's already an idea that this should not be, and inherent in that idea that this should not be, we have taken ourselves to be something that we are not. Because for what you really are, there cannot be anything that should not be. You see? So I'm happy you spotted this well, because many times we can have this idea that really this is a battle about some things, some perceptions, which now have to stop showing up in my perceptual experience now that I'm coming to freedom. You see? But that itself is contradictory, because freedom means that everything can come.
Yes.
You see? And as long as you
Yes.
recognize that, just like I was saying to the previous friend, that you are the space in which all of this arises, and actually even more than that, you are aware of that space in which everything arises, then you are not so concerned. You see, which flavor is coming? Is it good? Is it bad? Should there be more of this? Should there be less of this? You see? It's only when you
Yes.
take yourself to be um, uh, a narrative, a linear story of someone who went through this and then went through that and now is going through this and now is trying to become free from something. Do those things still apply? But when you come to satsang, then all of this narrative is thrown out. You see, all of the narrative is thrown away.
Yes. And yes, and so if one throws away like the image of how openness should be,
Yeah,
that can be blurry or clear, um, yes, there has to remain this, no?
yes,
Uh,
yes. So openness is actually very simple. You see, just open. You see, you open a window, then warm breeze can come, cold breeze can come. You see, the window is unaffected, the room is unaffected. You see, anything can come. A bird can fly in, or a bat can fly in. It doesn't matter. It's just open. You see, it's just that the one saying, no, no, you come, you don't come. You see, I thought I'll open the window and only good things will come, only sparrows will come. What is an eagle doing here? You see, this kind of idea is not there. You see, open means just open, whatever may come.
yes,
You see? And if you don't have an idea of what clarity is, then you won't have an idea of what blurriness is. You see,
yes.
what 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 would blurriness be like?
Um, it's it's the attention like mixing with some story or
Yeah.
something.
Okay. So if the
Yes.
attention mixes with some thought, so then what happens?
Mm. Yeah. Yes, all the time that's sin, but somehow it's like, yeah, like an hypnosis, no? Something it feels caught up in that. Uh,
Because the thought itself
yes.
is saying that this thought should not come. The thought itself is saying that the attention should not get mixed up in thought. You see?
Yes. 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 Yeah, and maybe it's like that model of how things should be, but because sometimes that creates some seeming conflict in life, and like the mind uses that also to say yes, you see, you're making trouble, therefore you are not free and all that. Yeah. But yes, it's
Actually,
from the
yeah,
beginning it's all sin.
yeah.
Yes.
There is no conflict in life. You see? The only conflict is in our thoughts. You see? Once you identify where the trouble is, then it becomes much simpler. Otherwise, if we feel like the trouble can never be in life, or life can naturally, organically be troublesome, you see, then we have fallen to for the trick of trying to fix things in the wrong playground.
Yes.
You see? So openness is that open that you're not even concerned about openness. You see?
Yes.
If there is one there that could actually be affected by anything that could show up, you see, then of course my advice would be different. Mm. But upon looking, and all of you have looked for a long time, and none of you have come up with that one, no?
Yes. Thank you, Anantashi.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. The way to be closed is to know something. The way to be open is just not even I don't know, just not in the playground of knowing at all. Papaji said, no? To be happy, you need nothing. But to be unhappy, you definitely need something. See? And what is that something? An idea, a notion, some knowledge. Very nice. Thank you, my dear. Good. Okay, Kate can come.
Oh, there we go. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. I
Looks
just,
like a very nice place. Where are you right now?
yeah, it is a very nice place. It's at my friend's house in the Perth Hills. Yeah, they're really beautiful, beautiful people. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for the spaciousness. Yeah, I feel really touched by what people are sharing tonight. And I felt like I wanted to um, meet with you again or check in with you again. And I just noticed a lot of the timing or the resistance of it was exactly what's being spoken about tonight, about things that that was being seen, about what was arising, thoughts or images that I took personally. I was like, oh my goodness, like it just created all this separation. And yeah, and now it almost seems comical, because just, it's so funny because hearing one of the sisters say, oh, she was, oh, I can't remember the words, but basically what touched me was this feeling of, I've been very reluctant to come to be in satsang, but it just keeps happening. And I was reluctant to go to India and see Muji, and I was like, oh, like I'm gonna serve, I don't know, like I must have seemed totally ungrateful. But it just keeps calling me, and it just keeps happening. And yeah, I just feel really grateful because what is being expressed through everyone's words is like, oh yeah, that's exactly what is happening, what I'm witnessing and seeing. And yeah, I just think that that's such a shame that that separation could have been believed. And just the relief that I can go, well, that we can go beyond that and not try and fix it on that level, or be ashamed of thoughts or images that pertain to this being's person's story, because it doesn't matter, and I just feel this thing that keeps going, I just want to go home, I just want to go home, for years. And I thought that that was a place. And yeah, I don't really know what it is. Like, I just guess it's just being discovered, but I just feel really, really grateful, and I don't really understand why. Like, yeah. Yeah. And it's just really, really happy to meet with you and to watch you and Guruji's love and example. You were talking about Christ before, and that's just really, I just feel like it's just such a gift to come in at this time, this year especially. So yeah, just lots of loving sensations are being felt.
That's good, no?
And yet that's not me, is it? It's just and yeah.
That's such a sweet report. I loved hearing every moment of it. Very nice.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
welcome. So, thank you too. Thank you too. Okay. We have Peter with his hand up, but I don't see the option for Peter to have audio. You have audio, my dear? We don't hear you, and it doesn't show the mic next to your name. Thank you. Ah, now it's connecting. Yes.
There it is.
Ah, there we are. Namaste.
I couldn't raise my hand on the laptop. All right. Yeah, I just find myself caught in all this judgment around the person and entitlement and arrogance and self-pity and judgment, and I feel like I can't get free. It's just so hard to, I just like it's just like just feel like I'm in the mud, and no matter what I do, I can't get out of the mud. It's just like
I'm with you. I'm with you completely. And I have some very good news for you. Mhm. Good news is that here and now, whatever the content of your experience may be, you are free. You don't have to trouble yourself to try and believe that, because I'm not speaking at the level of belief. Your mind will immediately resist trying to believe it. So don't worry, you don't have to accomplish anything. I'm just speaking from that which is your direct being. And sometimes it can feel like our words are not the best representative of our being. So sometimes that's why the master's words can really touch the heart, because they seem to represent our being more accurately than anything that we can fathom by ourselves. So I am aware that in your heart these words are being felt, that you are free without any effort, no matter what may be happening in the play. Your very presence, your very beingness is unlimited, is unattached, is unconcerned actually. And all the struggles belong to a self image, an idea we have about ourselves. And as we are returning to this innocence, then all this self image cannot survive. So, if there is a self image, then it is auspicious that it is getting squeezed. How will we return to innocence if that squeezing was not happening? So, so don't worry. Even these times, it can seem like it's so full of all of this stuff, and where is the hope for me? I'm here to tell you that you are beyond all this already, and even all of this is only grace which is helping you, although it may not be immediately recognized. There's nothing that is attacking you as your reality. All that is being attacked is what you've held on to as a narrative or a story about yourself. And grace is now showing you a deeper you, a broader, a more universal you. It is just open and allowing everything that needs to be done to happen. We have tried to hold on, we have tried to grip things strongly, and life has squeezed hard. No? So, so this is what my master calls acid grace can happen at times, but it's very, very auspicious. And as long as you feel like um, the Sadguru's voice from within is not apparent, I'm here for you. Just pointing you to that. Mhm.
Yeah, there's like such a strong belief, like I've got to go and fix all this perceived harms in the world, and I don't feel like there'll ever be enough time to do it. And it's like this weight of just like crushing, incomprehensible, like I can't do it. Like I can't make it all right. It's just so much to try and carry it. It's just like,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. I completely understand. I completely understand because they they may appear a sense here that, oh, there are 7 billion people on this planet and everybody is suffering so much, and I should help everyone, but it doesn't work that way. Right now I can only help you, so it only works in this way. And the same way, if the feeling and that urge is there is to help, you see, make the next person who comes, you come across, make them smile, give them a big smile. You see, that's it. That's how you help. If you keep thinking of how big the challenge is and how so much is there to be done, it just paralyzes us. You see, if we say, okay, this one, the one in front of me, how can I love them the most? That is more than enough. So you don't have to get rid of the urge to help, you see, and fix things and any of that. But if you take on all of it at one shot, it becomes too much for us to manage. You see, you just take one step at a time, one step at a time, and trust that grace is guiding your steps. Uh, so much love to you, my dear. All my blessings, and may all that afflicts you be healed by my Father's grace. Very good. Very
Thank you.
thank you, my dear. You're welcome to come as often as you like and share as often as you like. Thank Okay, I'm going to jump into the chat in the middle. I'm going to start with the simple one. Father, did you say that Maya means also what can be measured? Yes. What can be measured is Maya. Most of this is answered, hopefully. Father, please help me to have more tolerance and compassion instead of frustration and self-righteousness when it seems as if people are projecting their minds and attacking me with their opinions. Okay. And remember that in that moment, if there is not tolerance and self-righteousness does come, then remember not to feel frustrated about that to start with. You see, otherwise it's a very vicious circle. So also be tolerant and compassionate about how the life energy is flowing through this body mind. Become a little open about that. Don't be so hard on yourself. Then one says there is resistance coming up in the body to even write these words. Last night mind stream was constant, burning and such, even now. Today is the birthday of my father who has passed. I feel his darshan is being used. 2 weeks ago, you gave me a contemplation. Does awareness depend on the being to know itself? There is no answer to this. There is, however, a past experience of losing consciousness that is not letting this contemplation come to full fruition. In that, you see, in that experience, don't take it as if it is negating the contemplation. Even to be able to say, I lost consciousness, is actually the answer. Is actually the answer to my question. Mhm. And see if you want to use this, and if you want to come up, you can raise your hand and we can look at this. One says, when eyes water, what weeps? Eyes, eyes weep. Yeah. Many times I say, that the tears are just the concepts melting. The concepts are melting in our head, and the tears are coming out like. What is I? I. Okay, we have a hand.
Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. I got new headphones so you could hear me.
Working much better now. This is working much better.
Oh, good.
Both of us don't have to like, what's happening? What's happening?
Exactly. Exactly. So there's a lot of intense sensation right now in the body for no reason. I mean, it just is coming up right now as it is. It's okay. So the contemplation that you brought to me 2 weeks ago, I couldn't even grasp it to ask it. Like the words didn't even make sense to me at all. I had to keep reading it. And it was to be aware, are you dependent on being? Like, is awareness dependent on being to be self aware? And I think I was meshing awareness and being as one. And so the difference, like the question makes it sound like there's a separation, like two things. And I think that's where there's confusion, because when I've lost consciousness a few times in my life, and when I lose consciousness, there's just nothing. Like there's just, I am nothing.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I am nothing until consciousness returns, which is why the question was, it felt like we need being to know that there is just nothing. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, yes. But let's really look at this. No? So it's like saying that there is a sense of existence, you see, and um, that sense of existence, it goes away, you see, and there's nothing there, you see, just nothing, no? And sense of existence again, you see. Then if that was so, then how would you know that that state in the middle of the two sense of existence states, that state in the middle, that there was nothing, actually happened?
And that's the question I've been asking myself.
Yeah.
So, like, there must be awareness in that moment of nothing. There must be
Yeah.
something knowing the nothing, but maybe it just can't express the nothing until there's
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yes.
that's what I'm confusing it with.
The expression is not what I'm concerned about at the moment. No? So obviously the infrastructure, as I call it, to speak and the expression in any way only arises in the presence of being and existence. You see, and we can also say, also only say that, oh, existence and non-existent don't matter, only within existence. So I'm well aware of the inability for any conceptualization and verbalization to happen unless there is a sense of existence. But at least that much seems to be clear to both of us, that to even be able to report so clearly that there was just nothing, you see, and who saw that there was just nothing? Not who is reporting, but who saw, quote unquote saw, because it is not sight, you see. Who is aware that there was nothing? Who was aware?
There was just nothing being aware.
Yes, and that nothing is the pristine you.
And
That
yet there's still
nothing,
something trying to understand the nothing.
yes, well, it cannot. So either we can surrender it, or we can wait for that one to be fully frustrated and burnt out. Either way, it cannot understand it.
Right. Yes. Okay.
If it was
Thank you.
that, if it was understandable, you see, what can we understand? We can understand very small things, no, measurable things, things that appear and disappear. Now, if yourself turned out to be just one of those things, then all of this would not be worth it. You see. If it was just
Right.
something, oh, finally I got it, it's just that. Even to say nothing, actually, you see, if it is just conceptual understanding of nothing, then it can just become, oh, nothing. Then what is the point? It's just nothing. You see, but this is a pristine no thing that you are. It's the most um, it's the most amazing. I don't know what to say. It's the most brilliant. You see, beyond anything that I have ever phenomenally experienced, beyond all that I can even imagine, even the highest of the highest. You see, beyond that is the self. You see. And strangely enough, the mind's interpretation of that is just nothing.
And yet it's beautiful because it's like almost like along the way, it's like there's just little blips and glimpses of what seems to be truth along the way, but it's still a graspable thing. And it's grasped, and then there's something else that's graspable. I don't know,
what
maybe
grasp?
to help
What
ease
grasps?
the mind into it.
Don't
What
worry
was
about the
that?
mind. If you don't worry about the mind for a moment, what grasps it?
A thought.
You see? And a thought can grasp it in which way? Like which thought can grasp it?
It's almost just like a sensation combined with a thought that's seen.
And that can grasp that which you saw yourself to be when you were unconscious?
No, that's not it.
Cannot do it.
No, we can't. No.
No matter what the content of the thought, no matter how sublime the sensation, that pristine reality cannot be grasped by it.
It's just so, mind can't grasp it, and yet things are just happening, and it's kind of overwhelming sometimes. Like, I'm not doing anything, but I believe I'm doing something. And it's like,
Yeah.
but everything's happening by itself.
Who is the
It's like a
you?
game.
Who is the you which is not the doer?
It's just seeing, like, there's still sensation that helps grasp it, but it's still seen.
Yes. But who is the you that is not the doer?
Just here, like there's no answer.
Because what has happened is that, and it's very popular in Advaita actually, that you can say, but I don't control anything, I don't do anything, but we're still referring to ourselves as the non existent one. And obviously, the non existent one can't do anything, get anything. So, so that reference point goes away. You see,
Okay.
that reference
Yeah.
point goes away. And then what remains?
There's just nothing to do then. There's no seeker.
So, as the seeker goes away, then what remains?
Noticing sensation.
So suppose that
Just here.
sensation also went away, which it will, then what remains?
Just here.
Now, I don't know if you can walk with me now here. Now suppose this here also goes away, then what remains?
I don't know. There's just fear sensation in the chest that could be seen as fear.
Yeah. It's important to come face to face with this fear.
It's there.
Who is hurt by it, affected by it?
No, and it's just there. I've been avoiding it my whole life,
Yes.
but it's just
In a way,
sensation.
yes, yes. In a way, that is symptomatic of the entire human condition. All of us have avoided this fear, the fear of the unknown, the fear of death, the fear of nothingness, the fear of dissolution.
And the fear is that the fear will keep me from that.
Mhm. That's how it plays. But even now, you are aware of that fear.
Yes.
How big is the fear in relation to you?
It's not taking me over, the person over. It's just there.
Yes. Do you feel like you could become actually okay with it being there?
Yeah, it's not so bad.
Yes.
I was fearing the fear, and that was making it worse, but it's just sensation.
So very good insight.
Thank you.
Because this is the number one in this play of the human condition. This fear, this wobbliness, um, is the most potent distraction away from the simple self-recognition. Now, that which is aware of this fear, what can we say about that?
Nothing. It's just ever here, ever present.
What can appear in this realm that can make a small scratch on that awareness? The tiniest little bit to scratch.
Nothing.
If the biggest fire came, biggest fire, won't that burn it a bit? A little bit?
No.
Sharpest knife. Sharpest knife.
No.
No. Big tsunami, all the water in the world. Then somebody was just asking, what's so amazing? No? What's so amazing about ourselves? Isn't this amazing? That the strongest forces in the universe can come and try and attack ourselves, but the self cannot be scratched even a little bit. Timeless, deathless, birthless. That which is before I am, that which is untouched through this entire play of millions of lifetimes. All these universes can come and go in our realm of perception, millions of dreams we have had. but the self has remained untouched. What can be more magnificent, more innocent, more pristine than that? Very good, very good.
Thank you.
I'm just enjoying today's satsang very much. Very good. One says, today I want to say Father to you. I don't know why exactly, but to see that you are not Ananta, the name. I see you being it, what must be myself. It urges to somehow want to express this to everything and everyone in this. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Father. Now, with confidence, it can be said, if I have to go earlier to work here, gratefulness it is. All my love, such a beautiful report. And this Father is definitely not this man or this boy sitting here called Ananta. It's your own presence, your own beingness that you're referring to, your own Sadguru presence. So this Ananta just accepts these words in service to our collective Father. Thank you. Is the spiritual path like running on a treadmill? Yes. That's why I offer no path. Okay. She told me just the other day that it's not Leela. It's Leila? How do you say?
It's Lila. Can you hear me?
Laila.
I don't have my good microphone right now.
It's
Yes,
very audible. Yes. Yes.
okay. I feel like this is going backwards from what Keisha just spoke, but I told you last time that I'm having this fear of death coming up so strongly in what she spoke about. Well, one thing, and I've been listening to a lot of videos, yours and others, about fear of death and dissolution. And one thing that's always brought up is deep sleep, and you know how you somehow know that you slept. But and what Keisha was speaking about, having lost consciousness, and there's something that knows that. But somehow I've had those experiences, and what's coming for me is that usually the only way I know is someone said you were out for 3 hours, or I've had anesthesia where it was just after I found Guruji, and so I thought, and I was listening, I thought it'll be nice to go under, but it was a very disconcerting because when they put the needle in, I saw the nurse's face. The next thing I knew, it was as if there was no gap between going into the anesthesia and coming out, like no time at all. And I was like, wait, I didn't know I existed. They were doing 5 hours of surgery and that was gone. And so that's kind of, I'm trying to grasp what it means to know, because I don't know if I would have known if there was no clock or nobody saying you were gone, you know. So I don't know, I don't want to step backwards, and thought maybe I should contemplate it. But well,
Fine. But
I
first
don't
you have
know.
to tell us whether you went to the doctor, no? Did you
I
go to the
did
doctor
go
with
and they couldn't do the test. So I'm
ah,
left. It's nothing going to be resolved very quickly. So I guess that's
ah,
something I'm going to have to live with for maybe a few months before I have any answers.
oh,
But
I see.
I guess that's Guru Kripa Kevalam.
Yeah, yeah,
I guess
yeah.
that's um,
Yeah.
the uncertainty.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
So, yes, on this consciousness thing, no, I have to admit that in this life, I've not had this experience of what is usually called losing consciousness. So maybe I'm not able to directly report on that. But what Keisha was saying is that she was aware of the gap where there was nothing there, and
yeah,
that's what we picked up on. But we don't have to go that far, actually. No, like we can just look at our sleep state, our deep sleep, as it is called. So, and what happens? You see? So, what time did you wake up this morning?
well, that's another thing is I have a sleep tracker
Yeah.
that tells you what stages of sleep you have, and
Uh-huh.
and for me, I guess when you get older, you have less deep sleep, but it's very short according to my tracker. Like the deep sleep is only like an hour a night, maybe at most. So I know I'm aware of the light sleep that I'm there, and that seems to correlate to me with like the beingness is there. I'm not necessarily dreaming. I'm not necessarily, there's not necessarily a person there, but there's beingness. But as far as the deep sleep, I'm not, I'm, I'm difficult that way. Like it doesn't, it's,
No,
I'm not
this is,
sure.
do you
So,
know
but
that this is the most amazing thing? That there are
yeah,
many yogis in India and sadhus who are trying to come to this state where only the being is there and there is no other perception of the world. And every
yeah,
night you're having this experience, it's
yes,
amazing.
that's
So
true.
that's very nice already.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's just a thing my mind is using because I know that
It's not.
like I've been in the state also of when I was a child almost dying after a surgery, lost a lot of blood and had a terrible operation that didn't go well. And I was very afraid of death before that. I still am. For a short time, I was not afraid of death because it was only like the beingness state. It was right before the doctors came and put me back together. But at that time, I knew that I could die because people were saying, I just knew it, but I didn't mind. I was in the state that like, that's okay. It's okay if I do. So that's as far as I've come to being in that state of beingness and really, not till I found Muji, I realized that that wasn't just as a consequence of losing blood. It was the actual beingness because I felt it again when I listened to him some, oh, that's so I knew in a way if I'm in that state, it doesn't even matter. Even if there is annihilation, I don't mind in that
Yeah.
state. So I feel like maybe it's just a mind trick to keep me frightened and keep me concentrating on this instead of going there. Is like I don't know that it would be that bad. So, but yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess
So,
just
in the contrast between sleep and waking,
yeah,
you see, that all of us are aware of in one way or the other. Otherwise, our experience would just be waking, then suddenly the waking changes, like almost what you were saying about losing consciousness. No? That,
yeah.
how did I get
It was
here? You see, it was 10 p.m. and suddenly it's 7 a.m. What's
yeah,
happening? You see,
yes.
but it's not like that, isn't it? You notice that there is a waking up, and we are all aware of this experience that we call waking up. You see, so and we see, and it's so intimate that we call it I woke up. You
Mm,
see? And yet we are aware that I woke up. You see? So this I amness or beingness that wakes up, who is aware of the waking of that? You see? And to be aware that something is waking up, that witnessing must be present even before the waking happened, isn't it?
mm,
Otherwise, you could not say, now it is waking up.
mm. So I guess I tend to feel like it's the beingness is already there even before the, well, I guess it's when the person starts talking, like, oh no, I'm awake. The person is there. But it
Yeah.
feels like it was kind of the state was, the beingness was there through, even in the sleep. Maybe I'm dreaming before I wake up, but
Then how would we say I woke up at this time in the morning? What wakes up then?
yeah. Well, the
You see?
perception of the world and my
Yeah.
my clock, the perception of
But
the
then
room.
if it was that way, mostly if it happened here, I would say that the world woke up or the perception woke up. You see? I would not be able to say I woke up.
I'm kind of lost. Uh-huh.
If as you say that the sense of being was there, and suddenly things start to light up a bit, and the perception
Yeah,
starts to show up. This is what you're indicating, no?
yeah,
So, but the thing is that if that was the case here, and you have to tell me how it is there, then I would say that the world wakes up. You see, I would not
oh
be
yeah,
able to say I woke up, you see,
yeah,
on that basis. And yet my experience is that I'm able to say, I woke up at 7 a.m. this morning. So, and many times it happens that I wake up, like you were saying, that the sense of being wakes up. You see, I notice here that the sense of being wakes up, but I'm not yet in the mode of perception of this world. You see, I don't even know which body this is.
yeah,
You see,
yeah,
everything is through, and suddenly I am awake, but I don't know whether this is a male body, it is a female body, which universe this is. I don't know any of these
yeah,
things.
yeah,
And that's a very enjoyable state, actually.
yes,
As you experience more and more of this, you may start loving that, because it's full of so much potential and wonder.
yeah,
So that is very joyful. So maybe you want to experiment with this a bit, and we can talk again when we talk
yeah,
like this. When what you could experiment with
okay,
is just, if you could, and don't have to beat yourself up if it doesn't happen. It's just for fun. Yeah, we're just having some fun together. So if you could notice the first moment of waking, you see, the first moment of waking, what just woke up, what just woke up, and there's no real way to do this. It's just grace if it happens that way. Like you cannot, in the first moment of waking, say, "Oh, I decided," but just carry this intent a little bit with you and see if it happens that way, because that
okay,
exploration of what wakes up, you see, when we say I woke up, is a beautiful one. And it could be in the middle of the night. If as you say, you experience 1 hour of deep sleep, and the most of the other time you're just in this very yogic state of just being, without without there
well,
being a
dreams too,
world.
but yeah,
So then you could notice even that. It could be that whenever you notice that you are,
okay,
you see, whenever you notice that you are, just check what just happened, what woke up, and see if it is just perception, if it is just the world perception, or if there's something more primal than that.
okay,
Yes.
yes,
Again, just playfully. It's just playfully, not nothing serious or anything.
okay. Thank you. I was embarrassed to ask the question because it seems so clear for most people, but it's been it's such, I mean, I feel still sticky about it, but I think I don't know,
Yeah, because I
kind of
can't.
managing it.
If I could just tell it to you, then I would. But
I wish.
some of these things we have to just, we just have to see with our own insight, and that's why I give you this little bit exercise, and let's see how that one goes.
Yeah,
You see?
okay.
Especially when we're talking about the arising of being. That being is actually prior to time and space, so it's very difficult to really put in words.
I feel as soon usually when I wake up, I feel like there's already a me. There's already the person that doesn't want to be awake. There's already the one that's, oh no. There's already that one. So it's hard to, I feel it's quite rare that I wake up in that state of
Yes, but
not knowing
what
what I'm
wakes
doing.
up is the question. No?
Okay.
The
Oh,
question we are asking is what really wakes up, and is it again, like you said, you made one You took a stab at it, which was to say is the world perception that wakes up, and that's what I call I woke up. But this we can validate a bit and see whether this is
Okay.
actually like that. You see?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
If you don't mind a little bit of homework, that'll help the
Okay.
conversation.
I'll try. Okay.
And there are no grades, so you don't have to worry.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. Hello.
Hello. How are you, Father?
I'm very good. I'm very good.
I was not expected. I was not expect.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to speak with you. Actually, I don't know what about.
Same thing every day. No, I want to speak with everyone, but I don't know what about. And I'm smiling a lot more about that than you are.
Because it seems like it feels also like there is something, but when I look into it, I cannot find anything. But I'm maybe I'm in the States, so yeah, I don't know. I wish I could find something.
That's the story of the seeker, no? I know you said it in a different way. But the seeker is also hoping to find something instead of nothing. You see? But I'm telling you that if we, after all the spiritual search, at the end of it, if we just found something, that would never be satisfactory. The search has to come to an end at nothing, because that something would just be another something. You see?
Father, may I say that I
Yeah.
also today I feel like this. I don't feel like a searcher anymore. I don't feel like I'm searching anything. It's like I'm with you, just this. And I'm just with you. It's like an inseparable thing for me, you know? It's not like, yeah, I don't feel like I'm searching anything, but things are happening, of course. And sometimes I look more deeply, but it's all just happening by itself. I mean, there is no forcing about anything. Of course, I'm chanting mantra because I love it, or all these things happening, but yeah, I don't feel like I'm searching, I'm looking for something or like this. But like my being in satsang is just I belong to satsang. It's like this, you know. I'm I am inseparable from you, from Guruji. It's
Yeah.
like this. It
And
is
no
the
buts,
truth.
no buts,
Hmm?
no buts.
No, buts are just about dynamic life, but it's also not so much buts.
Yeah, that much
I
is okay.
mean, yeah, they are not touched so deeply somehow. They couldn't. They don't have that power anymore.
Yeah.
this is where I'm confused because things are happening and it's like
So,
they have to, you know, like they have to shake me because it was like this, but they don't have that power. And really, I have confusion about this. I don't
but for
know.
confusion, there must be meaning, no?
Like,
In the sense that can you be confused without knowing the meaning of anything?
um,
So, okay, let me spell it out a little more. So, there must be a few things that are known, you see, and they seem to have some friction among each other, and that is what is usually called confusion, you see. Then what happens is we talk to somebody who we think is wise, and that wise one gives us another conclusion, which seems to put to rest the friction between that which we think we know, and we seem to, our intellect seems to come to a rest, you see. Now, what if what we are talking about did not belong to that whole game at all? And it did not have to clarify, nothing had to make sense, there were no opposing concepts, all of that. Dance, if it wants to dance, it can dance. But it does not make me confused. It can confuse itself if it wants. The mind is welcome to make itself fully confused, but it has nothing to do with my reality.
it is,
You
Father,
see?
and
So if it becomes like this, so if there was a meaning in the previous report, which was that, but I see all of this and but I seem to be quite free, you see, and yet, you see, like this, you see. So don't worry about any of that. Don't worry about what anything means, and don't worry if it is meaningless or meaningful. Because your reality is much more meaningful than any meaning that we can make out of it.
you know, Father, it's like everything has crushed here. What I mean by this, I don't know, not like dramatically.
Like, be confused without knowing anything. Can you do it? And I'll make it even more difficult. Be confused and only know the truth. Can you do it?
Again, please, last part.
Yes. Try to be confused while only knowing the truth. And it will point you to that which we think we know, but it is not the truth. The truth has no ability to cause confusion.
Yeah. Father, it's like I don't know. I can relate, and it's like it's almost like I'm in the experience of what you are saying.
Yes, yes,
But what I was saying also that like this world has loosened its power, its importance, and it's I don't know, it's everything for me. So like this world is for what, and also I'm just so much enjoying it actually, not like
yes.
before, just too much fun. But like I don't know, it's not something that I'm used to, this feeling, you know, this world just turned into nothing, and I am like, yeah, not confusion, but it's a new feeling for me.
Yes, yes.
It's nothing
So
anymore.
if the world turned to nothing, you see, then obviously for the me it is going to be not just confusing but very scary. You see, But the good news is that as the world is turning to nothing, so is the me.
Yes, Father, and this is what is
So
happening actually.
the one that has to deal with the dissolution of the world has no trouble dealing with it. You see, but it is not the me. The me is just trying to hang on, saying, "How do I deal with this stuff?" No, no, you're going too. You see. So the one that is getting confused by the dissolution of the universe is going along with the universe. Is going along with the universe. You see, it's like it's trying to hold on to the spaceship, saying, "No, no, I'm coming with you. I'm trying to understand what's happening here, but it's a bit confusing. Help me." You see? And the master saying, "No, no, you go, you go. We don't have space in the space for you."
I don't know, this feeling is still alive. And I don't know what is this feeling, but
That's it. That's it. So till you don't know, then don't accept any claim that the mind will make on that feeling. You see, allow it to be crazy. We don't understand what this is. Fine. It's fine. You see?
it's not like crazy. It's like this. I'm going to put that shape now.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, exactly.
Like
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It can be full of wonder. It can be full of all of this. You see?
and yeah, I don't even understand what we are speaking now, but
I've never understood. These words just come up from somewhere. They are spoken, and you all seem to enjoy them, and you come back again and again. I don't know why.
Hmm, yeah, this state is still here, but yeah, okay, then.
No state is any trouble in itself. It's only an idea that it must go, or there must be more of it, or any such notion around it, which can be troublesome. But if there's no such idea, then we don't even know it's a state. What's a state? I don't know. What is a state? It's just words. Stage mate. So you forget the term state for today. I want that word as Guru Dakshina for today.
Okay, I forget it.
Yeah.
It is still here.
Huh? So replace state with God. So what is here?
You are here.
So replace everything with God. God, 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 God. God, 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 God. God, God, God.
Father, it is already so.
God, 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 God.
Okay.
We used to do this experiment, no? And If Amba is still here, she'll remember. But in Bangalore one time, in Satsang, I said, Gopala will remember also. I said, don't say me for 1 week. Just replace every time you're going to say me, say God. And initially it can sound a bit arrogant, but it's a beautiful exercise. Very
You
good.
know,
Very
Father,
good.
it's
I just said I
how
don't know. I don't know. No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not the Advaita police.
okay. Okay.
Huh?
Yes, it is how it is experienced recently, actually,
Yeah.
what you are
But
saying.
yes, yes, yes. We have focused a lot in our lives, no? Um, the life of Sita obviously is a lot shorter than this Ananta body mind's life, but from whatever we've experienced so far, we have focused a lot on what has been experienced. You see? Now, in coming to satsang, we're changing the focus to what experiences. You see, what is aware of the experience. So, so as you're settling into that, then the content of your experiences may start to seem a bit strange or different, or some states or not states, whatever may come. But all that can come and go. You see, what is most important is uh, what is aware of all of this, and is that touched, is that affected, is that giving meaning to any of this.
No,
You see, and is there a you which is dancing around in the experienced, in that which is experienced, is there a you there?
if there is, even this is something.
Yeah, but there isn't, there never can be. You see, there never can be.
I mean, it's like it's also appearing with the experiences, with the experience.
You are never an object. You see, you are never an object. As much as uh, consciousness may try to take itself to be in this game of existence that it is playing, you see, it can never make itself truly objective. And only objects are affected by other objects.
Father, like the old way of being has dissolved.
Hmm.
I don't know where.
Now, very important, if the old way of being is dissolved, now don't make any new way of being.
Thank you.
Yeah, very welcome. Don't any no new way of being, otherwise that new way of being will be the old way of being, which will have to be dissolved. So no confusion, no confusion, no conclusion, no nothing, no left, no right, no up or down, none of this stuff.
Okay, this was very confusion.
That game, that place where the game happens between confusion and conclusion, there is nothing worthwhile to be found there. Only worthwhile is in the heart. You see? Only worthwhile is your holy presence. Yeah. Did you hear somewhere that my job is to clear confusion?
Not
This
with
is
these
this
terms.
is a major misunderstanding about Ananta. No? Actually, the more confused you are, the better it is for me.
Yes, I heard this
Yeah.
from you.
Because you're willing to let go of that which causes you more trouble. No? If it gives you a sense of security, we are not so willing to let go of that. So better you're fully confused.
Father,
Mhm.
it's like you have dissolved everything.
Yeah. Are you sure or
I don't know.
confused?
Hmm?
Are you sure about that or confused?
I forget what did I said.
Very good.
But you are speaking such a place within me. It's just and I'm so happy to be with you here.
Thank you, thank you.
It's like first time I have met you here.
Good, good, good. Very
And thank you for bringing me here.
good. So welcome, so welcome. Very good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mhm. And says you are the move, move, move policeman or the fresh, fresh, fresh policeman. We should do that exercise one day. You know? When I have a bit more energy, we'll do this thing. Then next one says, is it enough to know nothing? It feels that if you know nothing, then it's still something. You don't even know that. It feels that the realization or clarity of truth, a kind of knowledge. Yes, it's a kind of knowledge, no? When we end up knowing nothing, then it becomes a knowledge. But when you know nothing, then that is true knowledge. Hmm? Yeah. But you know nothing or something?
I don't know.
Huh? Huh?
Sense of being, I feel like this sense of being walks up. Sense of
Yeah.
being.
Yeah.
The sense of being is always there, but it's like I'm meeting it for the first time,
Mhm.
which I always
Mhm.
that answer came up, so I thought of.
That sense of being wakes up that which is always there, but it's met fresh. Like that?
The sense of being I knew
It sounds very nice and confusing to me. Yeah, I love it.
I know this sense of being every day.
Yeah.
When you asked this question, I was thinking who really wakes up, because I have a feeling that when I wake up, I know I wake up.
Mm.
I was thinking that. So it occurred to me that this sense of being here or being that
Yeah.
wakes up.
Yeah.
This sense is much cooler than
Cooler.
trying to understand and apply. Try to solve my problems is different. This sense of being is different.
When you say cooler, do you mean it's just much more relaxed, or you mean
Relaxed.
it's really cool?
Otherwise, when I
Relax.
try to listen and try to apply whatever you are saying to my
Yeah.
problems, that's a different path.
Yes, yes. I mean, I don't know which problem you could apply what I'm saying to. Not possible. What is it? The hard problem of consciousness. You missed that, Satsang? No. Okay. I feel like we are done. Yes. Yeah. Let's see if my browser decides to show up. Mhm. Mhm. I've got some links also, some requests to play, but okay, let me try and click and see. It is refusing to open any link on my computer. So you can sing it if you like. Who wants to sing? Want to sing? What is that? Govinda, what is it? Oh, there was that one, and there was another one, no? That you were enjoying a lot. Huh? Try it. Come on, let's see. Also, Gopala. Chilangagiti. I've not heard it for years. Whatever that, is it a Ram one? Or even the one that you and Govind made?
That is, yeah. Hari Om Vasudeva, Hari Om Nandalala, Hari Om Madhava, Hari Om Mukunda, Hari Om Vasudeva, Hari Om Nandalala, Hari Om Madhava, Hari Om Murari, Hari Om, 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 Hari Om Vasudeva, Hari Om Nandalala, Hari Om Madhava, Hari Om Mukunda, Hari Om Vasudeva, Hari Om Nandalala, Hari Om Madhava, Hari Om Murari, Hari Om, 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 Hari Om. Om Hari Om, 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 Hari Om.
Look at Gopala, C sharp.
Since March, I'm not open my mouth. You say, give me lyrics. Can you give me lyrics? Yeah.
What's the spelling of this? CHELA?
Chillingagati. Yeah. Chillingagati. Odi. Let's say a few. It's a triangle, right? Chillingagati. Odi vayo. Ende tamarakanna. Adi vayo. Chillingagati. Odi vayo. Ende tamarakanna. Adi vayo. നിന്റെ പെഞ്ചുപാദം തേടി തേടി ഞങ്ങൾ നിന്റെ ദിവ്യനാമം പാടി പാടി വന്നു നിന്റെ പെഞ്ചുപാദം തേടി തേടി ഞങ്ങൾ നിന്റെ ദിവ്യനാമം പാടി പാടി വന്നു ചിലങ്ക കെട്ടി ഓടി വായോ എന്റെ താമരക്കണ്ണ ആടി വായോ ദേവകി നന്ദന രാധാ ജീവ കേശവാ ഹരി മാധവാ പൂതന മർദന പാപ വിനാശന കേശവാ ഹരി മാധവാ ഗോകുല ബാലനെ ഓടിവായോ ഗോപാല ബാലനെ ആടിവായോ ഗോകുല ബാലനെ ഓടിവായോ ഗോപാല ബാലനെ ആടിവായോ ചിലങ്ക കട്ടി ഓടി വായോ എന്റെ താമരക്കണ്ണ ആടി വായോ कंसविमर्दन कालिय नर्तन केशवा हरे माधवा आश्रित वत्सल आब बांधव केशवा हरे माधवा ओंकार नाद में ओडिवायो आनंद गीत में आडिवायो ओंकार नाद में ओडिवायो आनंद गीत में आडिवायो चिलंग कटी ओडी वायो एंडी तमरकन्ना आडी वायो पांडव रक्षक पाप विनाशक केशवा हरे माधवा अर्जुन रक्षक अज्ञान नाशक केशवा हरे माधवा गीतामृत में ओडिवायो हृदयानंद में आडिवायो गीतामृत में ओडिवायो हृदयानंद में आडिवायो चिलंग कटी ओडी वायो एंडे तामरकन्ना आडी वायो एंडे तामरकन्ना आडी वायो एंडे तामरकन्ना
Is either on both sides of Gopala at once? Either? Chinmay. Chinmay is on both sides. Or does she have an identical twin? Yes, it's a twin. It's a twin. Mahesh was asking. There's only one.
Another ghost is sitting beside.
He would have checked his computer settings.
Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai.
Sadhguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.
Guru Kripa Kevalam. Let's see.